In today's video, I asked a booktuber to control my TBR, but they had to play my TBR game, and I also got the ability to play their TBR game and control their TBR. So after you watch my video, you can go and watch theirs and decide who was more cruel to each other with our picks. Books with Lexi is coming in today to tell me what I gotta read. Very nervous for her picks. Her exact words to me, I'm possibly going rogue. Ha 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 ha. I'm so scared. I will be watching the video as she goes. So I'm going to be reading one prompt, then one prompt, then one prompt, then one prompt. I don't know what I'm reading at all at this moment in time. You're going to see my live reactions every single time I finish a book. And you can do the same for hers, where I played her TBR game, Escape the TBR, got out of the haunted house, and picked her some books. I don't think I was very nice. I actually felt very, very cruel with my picks, but I'm very excited to see her thoughts on all of them. I need to watch her pick. Hopefully it's not bad. I hope the game board was nice. I'm nervous.
Hi Cassidy, thank you so much for asking me to be a part of this. I'm really excited to play your TBR game for you and to have full control of your reading. I'm scared. I don't actually know if I'm more scared of picking books for you or you picking books for me. I actually think I'm more scared to pick the books. I think you have expectations for this video that I don't know if I'm going to meet. Maybe a little bit, but I feel the need to put some surprises in this video. So I don't think you should be scared, because I have heard you say that you wanted to read every single one of these books, but I also don't know how it's going to go. So let's just start. When Cassidy did this with Mel last time, Mel ended on nature, so that's where we are going to start. Roll 1. 11. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. A pet pick. We got a nice little pet pick, and I happen to have 3 of those. I know you have a favorite, so she's going to help us out. Okay, also, so when I said that you had said you wanted to read every single one of these books, I actually lied on accident. There are 2 of the 3 that I gave Nova that you, I don't think, said you were interested in, but I loved them. So for the first pick, we are going with 3 options that I gave 5 stars. You come to me a lot for horror and thriller recommendations, so I'm using this as an excuse to make you read some things, to figure out what you do and do not like. So the first option that Nova has is Intercepts by TJ Payne. The second option she has is Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. And the third option she has is The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins. This is a thriller, this one's horror, and this one's sci-fi horror. Take it away, Nova. I know you own it, so very kind of Nova to help you out with that. And I know you did enjoy Camp Damascus, so I am really hoping you love this one.
Thank you, Nova! Nova is my favorite. Sorry, Winston and Bowser, but Nova is my favorite. I am someone who has a favorite child. Not gonna lie, I was hoping for Intercepts. I think a sci-fi horror just sounds so good, and that one I've never said I wanted to read, but I do want to read it. Maybe it'll come up again later? I'm a little nervous of this one. I've heard a lot of good things about it, and that's all I know about it. I don't know what the plot of this is. I think it's about some movies. If it's anything like Camp Damascus, it's gonna be a wild ride and an emotional ride. I guess we have our first pick. I have started Bury Your Gaze. I'm about 40 pages in, so not super far in. There were some elements of this that I wasn't expecting. I obviously knew that this was going to be a deep discussion on the representation of gay characters in the movie industry. I knew that it was going to hit very deep. From reading Chuck Tingle in the past, I knew that there was definitely going to be some heavy-hitting topics. I did not expect a conversation on AI though, which is so prevalent in today's society that I love when I get to read about it. So that was interesting to me. And so far, I'm definitely, I think, more intrigued to this story than I was with Camp Damascus. As someone who has a really deep appreciation for like TV and cinema, I have enjoyed the like small discussion we're getting. Well, it's not small, but I have really enjoyed the discussion we're getting on that. Not only about gay characters, because that is like the really big topic we're hitting on this, but there's also small things that he's brought up up like how TV used to be looked down upon compared to movies. And I always thought that was so wild because I'm a TV over movie lover. Like, I will sit down and watch 8 seasons of a TV show before I watch one movie any day of the week. Like, there's something about the love and growth and development of characters in a TV show for me that works so much better for who I am. Like, I'm a series lover. And we just have seen like little aspects of these things that he's brought up, and it feels very well written and well researched. And then on top of that, we have the discussion on burying your gays in cinema and what that means and how that affects a whole group, a whole community of people, and why it's wrong, and how like not realizing you're doing it is not an excuse. And then there's all this stuff, and how money is such a forward thing in our society, and we value money over what we think people need to hear or things like that. And I definitely think that this is going to be a very heavy hitter story. The thing is, when I read Captain Damascus, I liked all of that. I didn't like Theo, packing peanuts are not for you. I didn't love the actual horror elements of it because I didn't feel scared by them. So I'm hoping the horror elements hit a little bit better for me in this one than they did in Camp Damascus. Theo found a box of packing peanuts, so he's going nuts back there. But I'm gonna keep reading this and I will update you in a little bit. I have a lot of bookmarks to still pack today. I'm getting ready for bed. I need to take my makeup off, and then I think I am gonna curl up and read a little bit before I go to sleep. It is 9:40. The Voice premiered tonight, so I watched that with my parents. We haven't watched the last couple seasons. If you've been around my channel for a while, like, I used to watch The Voice pretty regularly. I like watch The Voice depending on who the coaches is, really. Like, depending on if I feel like I'm interested, I watch it or I don't watch it. So sometimes I even just watch the blinds only because I think the blinds are the best part. But this year, Kelsey Ballerini is a coach and Adam Levine is back for the first time, and I loved Adam Levine back in the day when he was a coach. We literally call him my mom's boyfriend in this household. Like, we refer to him in front of my dad. We're like, oh, my mom's boyfriend is coaching again. Oh, they should pick my mom's boyfriend's team. It's just like a running joke. Yeah, so I'm very excited about them. And then I actually really like John Legend. I think he's really funny on the show. I'm not personally a fan of his like music. I don't really listen to that style of music very often. I think he has a beautiful voice, but I think he's hilarious on the show. So I do enjoy him. And then this will be my first time watching Michael Bublé, but I've always known Michael Bublé is funny. Like, the way he makes fun of himself in like the bubbly commercials, incredible. And he's Canadian. Well, really, I was like, Kelsey Ballerini and Adam Levine, let's all watch it. So we watched that. I think that Kelsey is making a little bit of she's being a little too button happy this season. It's her first time, so like, she's really excited to have people on her team, but I think she needs to be a little bit more choosy. And Adam Levine is great. I know there was the whole scandal with him, but I still love him. A girl is who she is. And then we watched the first episode of The Hunting Party, which is a new show. At first, I was really like so-so about it. I wasn't sure if it was like gonna be for me, but the ending really intrigued me, so I think I'll give it a few more episodes before I really decide. It might be a show that like I end up needing to binge later on, but I'm gonna attempt to watch it. It'll be on every Monday after The Voice. It'll be like pretty easy. That does make Mondays not a reading heavy day, which kind of sucks. Bury Your Gaze, I am about 50% in, and I'm kind of bored. I hate that. I hate saying that because this book has such good conversations in it. Like, I really, really like that discussion, but it's kind of reading like a lit fic currently. It's so slow. Like, I keep waiting for the horror to happen, and I feel like the horror is just very, very minimal, and I want more horror. I'm very much an action-packed horror girl. I feel like I felt very similar with Camp Damascus, how I was very intrigued by the conversations, but the horror happened all at once, and I still liked Camp Damascus, so I'm predicting I'm still going to like this one. I have very similar feelings on both of them, I think, where like the horror just happened all at once in Camp Damascus, and I don't know what the cat just did. I'm expecting that to happen as well. Also, I'm trying to decide what I'm gonna eat for lunch tomorrow. I should be a good person and not order food, but I've been just like craving cold things. Like, I'm not pregnant, don't worry, but I have been craving ice cream, and then like smoothies recently. I've just wanted so many smoothies, which I go through smoothie and ice cream phases. I can't lie. I get really addicted to something and then it's like all I want, and then I burn out on it. And having Booster Juice recently just makes me want Booster Juice again. And I'm like, do I order Booster Juice in the morning? Maybe. I could make a smoothie, but it's never as good. I'm gonna continue wiping all this off my face, and I'll hang out with you in the morning. We're back with my brown sugar iced latte. I've talked about these a lot recently. I just feel like I've really perfected the brown sugar iced latte. Like, it's better than Starbucks. Starbucks doesn't have exactly what I'm making, but this is so good. But last night I did stay up late and I did finish Chuck Tingle's Bury Your Gaze. I have very, very mixed feelings. And sometimes I find a book like this very hard to review because it does have a cult following for very, very, really well reasons. I think that this book is written incredibly well. I think that this book has an incredible message that I really enjoyed. Those are the parts of the book that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the conversation on cinema, the conversation on queer and rep in general on cinema, because there's also a sexual rep in this book that is done so good. Like, I think that this book truly is a masterpiece in terms of the conversations it's having. For me, I think my issue was I picked up a book expecting something different than what I got. This is told to me over and over again that it is a horror book. In my eyes, this is a sci-fi book. And I want different things out of horror that I want out of sci-fi. And so sometimes I personally have a problem when I go into a book wanting something. I am very stubborn, and changing the fact that I wanted that is very hard for me to do. And so I wanted horror, I wanted terror, I wanted to be on the edge of my seat for these characters. When I read horror, I want two things to happen. Well, one of two things to happen. I want either to be actually scared myself, I want to feel tense and disturbed and uncomfortable, or I want to feel those feelings for the character. I don't need to feel tense myself, I don't need to feel disturbed, but I want to feel like the character is very, very likely to croak at any moment. Because of what this story is, I knew it had to end a certain way because it didn't make sense for this conversation to happen and then it end the other way. So I think that that stopped me from really feeling like the book had that many stakes in terms of like the horror elements. I think the stakes on society and stuff were huge. So I really liked the society issues in this one. I think I liked Camp Damascus a little bit more because I did like the horror element of Camp Damascus a little bit more. I just truly felt like I lacked the thrilling aspect in this story. There were some good moments, but not moments for me that are outside of the regular sci-fi genre. Like, sci-fi is known to have some body horror and those elements to it. So I feel like this truly read like a sci-fi book for me, and I wish I had gone into it with that lens, because I think I would have been more interested in just like knowing what overall happened and not waiting for like the shoe to drop and for me to just feel terrified about something and to just feel disturbed. And that's a me problem. That is not on this book. This book was incredibly well written. It has an incredible message, and I think it deserves to be well loved. I think it deserves to be on so many lists. I understand why so many people love it. This was completely a me issue on this story, and I still enjoyed it. Like, I still really liked what it said about these things. I loved the conversation about greed and money. I thought that was really, really well done. I think I'm probably settling between a 3.5 and a 4. I do kind of want to sit on my thoughts on this one just a little bit more, because there were elements of the story that did bore me because I was like really waiting for some action and some horror to happen. But I think I could think about the conversation that happened in this story for a really long time. So I just want to think on my official rating. I will give an official rating in my wrap up of this. But like, if you want a story that discusses these things, like, this book deserves to be read. It deserves to be picked up. So please pick it up. And I will continue to read from Chuck Tingle. I have at least enjoyed all of his books so far that I've read. Maybe I should try some of his smutty erotica. Maybe. And Lexi could potentially give me one in this video, not gonna lie. Honestly, I wouldn't put it past her now. I'm extra scared. I actually have a prediction before we watch her next one. I have a prediction that she could give me the next Bridge Kingdom book, because she has been reading Bridge Kingdom and I'm on Bridge Kingdom 4. That is a little bit of a prediction. Let's watch her clip together though. I'm kind of scared. Where is it?
Roll 2. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A wild and a ladder, so going up. A wild pick. I know this means that I can pick literally anything, but I'm gonna choose a random wild card for me to pick. I don't know how the last pick went for you, so this is me maybe making up for it, picking something that I know you're super interested in at the moment. So I picked something from your February TBR. So for this wild pick, you will be reading Storm of Secrets and Sorrow. I know you gave the first book in this series 5 stars. I want you to like something in this video because I'm experimenting with some other things. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I bet you weren't expecting that pick.
You know what's funny? This is the second book in the series that I gave Lexi for her second book. So we will both be reading this series in our videos. Incredible. Amazing. Oh, okay. Well, I need to text Brie and see if she's ready to buddy read. I'm gonna read it without her, but hopefully she'll be able to start it as well. That was a wild card. I'm so excited for this one though. Welcome to shitty corner lighting, but this is where I have been coloring. I'm literally in a coloring phase. If you watched my last vlog, which is Reader DNF, I was exploring coloring as an adult for the first time with alcohol markers. We did just complete my newest page and I think it looks really good. I'm really proud of this one. I did the grayscale method where you color all your shadows gray first. So like anything that wasn't in where the light touches, I colored a light gray and then I just used the same colors everywhere. There are definitely some mistakes here. I had accidentally colored this part gray, so I had to use my colorless blender to try and blend it out. And it's a little splotchy in that area, but overall, I'm really impressed with this. This is my Valentine's Day toned thing, so I'm going to try and make them all like a Valentine's color palette, and I'm going to color this all February, hopefully, is my plan. This is the other one I did in it. I personally don't like the color palette in this one. I tried some new stuff on this one where like I love the color palette here. But I am farther into this book. I'm on chapter 18, so page 200. I don't have much to say about this book. I'm expecting it to be a 5-star. Like this was a pretty easy win for me considering how much I loved book 1. I'm loving book 2 just as much. I love the depth of character in the story. Like I feel like the characters are so complicated. They have so much to them. They have negative traits, they have positive traits, and their relationships with each other are always changing and growing and adapting. They're not always great. They're not always bad either. And I feel like it really feels raw and real and human to me, and that's something I've really been enjoying about this. I'm very much invested into the characters and their stories. I'm loving Axel's POV in this because we did not get Axel's POV in book 1, and I'm loving the storyline that's happening with Axel. I love Axel. He's my little baby boy, so I'm happy that we are getting to see his character development a little bit more. And of course, I love Luca. I literally just love this story so much. I'm very much invested into the story that this is. This follows a world where the descendants of gods were called legacies, and they were given the Fae in this world, and the Fae are essentially there to be their sources. So the legacy families will take a source and they will drink the blood of that Fae and use their power as like a source for them, and it's like this like really intimate bond between a legacy and a Fae that kind of gives up a little bit of willpower and stuff. There's a lot of discussions on consent in this and non-consent and things like that. I think it's very, very well done and well developed, and I very much enjoyed the story of Tessa, who is not your usual source. I feel like I have a lot to talk to you about, but none of it is reading related, which is funny. I haven't made it farther into the book. I'm feeling about the same. I think it's feeling more like a 4-star read to me than a 5-star read. I think I'm more interested in what's happening with Axel in this story and like his storyline. I think what's happening with our protagonist feels a little too repetitive of everything that happened in the previous book. So I kind of wish like that plot line was just moving forward a little bit more. I'm also personally not like the biggest fan of like random characters showing up randomly to like fix things or to tell them things, and this has happened a couple different times in the story, probably more than 3 times. I am predicting they're not random. If you've read Lady of Darkness, they're random to our characters though, and that is what bothers me. I don't know, like I just feel like they could learn information without someone showing up to tell them or someone ambiguously hinting at something. I don't know, like that's just like not my favorite type of world building and situation. I'm still very much intrigued. I'm still very much liking our character interactions and our character moments. I wish we had more of them. Currently our like 2 protagonists have not been together very much. I'm reading this for them. I'm reading this for the characters. I do like the world building. I think it's really cool, but like at the end of the day when I read romantasy, I very much want to feel connected to the romance and the characters, and without getting a lot of those interactions, it's fumbling a little bit for me. I'm still having a great time. Like it's still feeling like a 4-star read. I'm still flying through it. It is a long book and I'm almost done it. I'll most likely finish it tonight because we have coloring sprints. Me, Brie, Lexi, and Mel are all going to be coloring the same page tonight on sprints. We're just doing reading sprints, but we're all coloring, and I think it'll be fun. What else did I do? I felt like I had so much to say to you. Yesterday I did put up a pegboard in my little crafting corner. I put it up too high, which kind of annoys me. However, it's a lot of work to put in because my room is all cement walls, so I have to like anchor things in when I put stuff up, so it's too much work to move, so it's just staying as it is. I counted a lot of Sour Patch Kids today because this weekend I have a Patreon readathon where you get a guess for every 50 pages you read to guess how many Sour Patch Kids are in this jar. A lot. So I have to put them all in here and count them so that I know, so that people can make guesses, and whoever gets closest to without going over will win a little bookie book from their wish list from me. I really enjoy Patreon readathons like this. I'm a page count Patreon readathon person. I love them so much. What else? Oh, The Sims released a trailer for a new pack that I'm absolutely obsessed with. I'm currently playing Sims. I'm doing the like Blast from a Past thingy. I'm really excited for this new pack though, like pottery. I'm very excited to have pottery in The Sims. Like that's exciting to me. And like building wise, to make like a public retail thing and then also have Sims living on top. I love that too. Anything else I need to talk about? Oh, I started Deal or No Deal Island because Lexi, who obviously is what this video is about, has been telling me to start it, and I got obsessed and I watched 3 episodes of season 2 yesterday. I need to go back and watch season 1, but I'm literally obsessed with it. I love reality TV. It's not really hard to get me sucked into reality TV, but I was a little hesitant because I'm not the biggest Deal or No Deal fan. I know, blasphemy, but the drama mixed with the Deal or No Deal, incredible, amazing. Okay, I'm going to play Sims and then I'm gonna go to sprints. I'm probably gonna finish my book during sprints. I think I only have about 3 hours left of listening time and it's only like 2 o'clock. So I will update you with my final thoughts. I don't think I'm gonna have much more to add, and then I will watch my next clip and figure out my next read. Okay, I literally just this second finished Secrets of Storms and Sorrow. I can't say this title. Storm of Secrets and Sorrow. Like literally I was just sitting here in front of my camera and listening to the last like 10 minutes, 20 minutes because it's on, actually 30 minutes because it's on 3 times speed. I have very, very mixed feelings about this, and filming a clip right after filming is never the smartest move. I typically like to sit on my thoughts for a little bit before filming, so if you see some of my thoughts change in my wrap up, this is why, because you're getting my like initial reaction. I'm frustrated by this book. I feel like a whole lot of nothing happened in this book, and it's so long. I am obsessed with these characters and I love them, and so like I kept turning the pages. I kept wanting to continue reading. I still like finishing this. I'm like, should I start book 3 right now? But obviously I have this vlog, so I'm not going to. But book 3 is like high up on my TBR. Like I want to continue really reading this series, which I think means that this book will get a 4-star from me because I have a lot of complaints about it, so it can't be a 5-star. But like the pure feeling of want to keep reading gets it a 4-star. But this story does things that I personally really dislike, where everyone is keeping secrets, including from the reader, to a point where like it feels just for shock value almost, even though I guessed a lot of the things. I feel like it's kind of lazy is not the right term, but like so much is just info dumped at the end instead of like shown throughout the entire book, because they are reveals and they're supposed to be plot twists, and I've learned I'm not a plot twist girly. Like I do not like when plot twists just feel like they come out of nowhere, and not that these felt like they came out of nowhere, but I just feel like this whole book didn't exist. Like only the plot twist mattered. And I don't love the connection to the Lady of Darkness series. It's more than I thought it was going to be. It's not just Easter eggs, it's characters. And I don't think you have to read it to read this. Like I truly don't. I think this is written in a way that like our characters are confused about who these people are and they don't know the answers. So I think if you read the Lady of Darkness series, you will know the answers prior to reading this, and vice versa. You're probably gonna know what's happening more in Lady of Darkness if you've read this first. But I personally don't love character crossovers. I think it's gonna be because all their character work has been done in that other series that I'm probably never gonna connect to those characters. But we'll see, because they don't get a lot of page time. They're just existing in this, and I don't know, like I don't know how to feel about that currently. I think it's probably very exciting for people who love Lady of Darkness, but for me it's like an anti thing. I don't even like it in series that like I love. Like I don't know, I just want them to exist in the same world with Easter eggs and not have like direct crossovers. I do not know how to feel about this at all. Also, I think that I can decide that Melissa Heroic and me do not agree on female characters because I kind of hate Tessa. I love everyone else. Okay, and I don't hate Tessa, she just really frustrates me and I don't really see her side. Like I do, that feels harsh. Like I do, she's gone through some trauma, but like it frustrates me to no end that Tessa wants them to share everything with her, but she doesn't share anything with them either. She wants them to be loyal to her, but she has not shown loyalty to them either. And I feel like it's something that frustrates me in stories like this. It's so real, but like somebody has to give and take. And I feel like in this one particularly, the men are give and taking way more than Tessa is. I think Tessa is just so stubborn. And like also where she is at the end of this, I'm just like, girl, you're stupid. The men in this story are working for your best interest Like, yes, there's some issues. Some of them have some power issues. But for the most part, they actually care about you. No one else in this story cares about you. Let's talk about your childhood best friend who's known more about you than anyone for your whole life. Why aren't you mad at him? Why aren't you mad at him, girl? Like, you need to figure out some things because secrets can be okay. And trust is earned. I'm just frustrated, but I want to keep reading. I want to keep reading. And Axel, I love Axel. Axel's story carried this book for me, actually. I mean, I love Luca, too. I really liked being in the men POVs. I actually did not like being in Tessa's POV, and I could not figure out why. And I think it's because of the ending. When that all was revealed, I was like, yeah, because we were getting nothing of substance from her character because of what is happening. I loved Axel's storyline in this. I was so happy he got a POV. I really, really enjoyed it. And I'm scared for my little baby boy. Very, very scared. Very scared. So I need to continue to know what happens to him. And obviously, like, I just love Luca so much, too. I actually really like Theon, too, but he can be frustrating. But I love Luca. I love Luca so much. Like, there's a scene where he just talks about, like, if she was his. Oh, so good. So 4 stars from me, I think. Let's continue on this vlog and read our next story.
Roll 3. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So we got an object and a little snake. So I will now be picking 6 books instead of 5. So for an object on the cover, I went with a book from your physical TBR, a book that was on your priority series for 2025. And this also might help with reader DNF because then you'll only have 1 left in the series. So then you can complete a series in that. So for this, you'll be reading A Good Girl, Bad Blood. This is the sequel to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which I know really surprised you and you enjoyed a lot. So I hope this one goes well as well.
I didn't see that coming. I just know if Destiny is watching this, she is screaming, thank you, Lexi. Like, she is just praising Lexi right now because Destiny and me buddy read book 1 and then we were supposed to buddy read book 2 and I didn't, and she's done the series. And that was 6 months ago. So she's been yelling at me to continue. Like, every single video, she's like, can you read this already? Please read this already. So she's probably just going like, thank you, thank you, thank you, Lexi. I really enjoyed book 1. It actually really shocked me. When I picked it up, it was just because I wanted to buddy read with Destiny. She's my in real life best friend that I got into reading. She just started reading like a couple years ago and it's been so exciting. We read this and I was not really expecting to love it. I was expecting like a 3-star, but I had such a fun time with it and it kind of gave me like Pretty Little Liars vibes, which like is elite. So I'm excited to continue on in the series. Actually very excited. So this is going to be a fun read for me and it was pretty quick to read the first time, so I am very, very excited. Not what I was expecting at all. When Lexi said it was on my physical TBR and reader DNF, I was like, wow, she really lost the plot because I don't have a lot of horror thriller reader DNFs, but a little YA mystery makes sense for her. Hello, we're back in this corner. I really need to figure out some lighting for filming in here, but you can see my pegboard. I do think I like it and I have more thingies to put up, so that's exciting. I'm gonna put them up and get more things off my desk. Of course, I'm over here because I've been coloring while listening to the audiobook for this. This is a page that I'm absolutely obsessed with. This is stunning. I don't even know if you can see it because it's so dark in this little corner. I'm very happy. I tried to do like a stained glass effect here and then I did a new wood grain effect for the floor and I think that this turned out so perfect. I'm obsessed. This thing, I am quite far in. This is not even correct. I want to say I'm about 50 more pages. So I am probably just over halfway into this. I'm really liking this. I have no notes. It feels like the first book but reinvented. It doesn't feel like a copycat. It feels like if you're watching Nancy Drew or reading Nancy Drew and like the next investigation happens, it feels very natural for her to pick up this next investigation, and how all the characters that we met in the last book react to this investigation feels really good. Like, I really like the depth of this story. I think that it's hit all the marks quite well. I'm intrigued by the mystery. I'm intrigued by what exactly went on. I'm having fun finding all the little pieces and how they connect. Like, I'm really enjoying this. The first book follows our main character who decides to pick up an old like cold case in her town for her high school project, and she ends up solving like a mystery. And the second book, she's back to solve another mystery for her podcast that is now very successful. I'm really enjoying this. I'm really probably flying through it. I could finish it tonight. I think I'm gonna try and color another page. I'm giving this 4 stars. This felt like the second season of a TV show to me. I think it was really well done. It felt like a continuation of our characters, a continuation of their journey and their growth, but with a new plot, a new conflict, a new concept, a new big bad for the season. Like, truly, I think that this felt like season 2. And I enjoyed it. I really did. I thought our characters stayed true to themselves, but they also had growth and moments that felt different than season 1 because of how much they've changed since the first book. Like, how the first book affected how they reacted to things in this book, I feel like was very, very well done. I liked seeing snippets of our characters again. I do still think I liked book 1 better. I think that this one could have been longer. I think I could have used just a little bit more time with some characters. Maybe if I had read it directly afterwards, I wouldn't have felt that way, but I do think that book 1 had better, like, character moments in it. This one felt a little bit fast-paced for me. However, I still really, really had a good time, and so this was definitely a successful win for me. This is something outside of my usual comfort zone, but I really enjoy it, so I would like to read more things like this, and if anyone has suggestions for that, I do own one that I think could be similar in vibes. Maybe I'm wrong, but Finley Donovan is killing it, has been on my TBR for a very long time. I just picked it up because it was cheap and it was hyped up, and I do think that there's potential for me to really like this. So this is something I feel like maybe more adult than this, but I feel like could give me like same like fun vibes. I do think that there's a lot of depth in this as well. Like, although I said I had a fun time and it was a fun story, there are some really dark moments and deep moments, and I'm really looking forward to where book 3 could go. I know book 3 is controversial. People love it or they don't, but I personally think I'm very excited to see if it goes darker, which could be a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm overall really good pick, and we can watch Lexi's next pick. It's funny that I feel like this was the instant win. I don't think we were expecting that. Oh, and I know Lexi has not read this yet, but I think that she should. I think it was fun. It's just like an easy read, like a palate cleanser in my opinion, which was really what I needed after the like depth of Storm of Secret and Sorrows. That was good for me.
Roll 4. 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh gosh. Okay. An ebook, and there's another little snake there. So now there's gonna be 7 books. An ebook gives me so many options. So for this one, I picked a book from another TBR you have made. This is the Why Choose TBR that you put out. And I picked this book because for Realmathon this year, there is a team, the Ravens, which I am co-hosting. So you will be reading Feathers So Vicious. This is a romantasy duology, and the duology name is Court of Ravens. So it felt like a sign. I really didn't want you to be able to predict what you would be reading for this video. So I think this is a fun one, and everybody should join my team for Realmathon.
I don't know how to process this pick. Like, this one shocked me. This one really shocked me. Are you okay, Lexi? Why are you giving me so much romantasy? Well, okay. I will... I don't have words. I am literally flabbergasted right now. What is going on? What blue alien is inside of you? Okay. I'm very fucking excited to read this one though. I don't know if Lexi has any idea what this book is about, but this is like a dark romance Why Choose. There's 2 men. So it's not like your typical Why Choose where there's like a lot of men, but I know there's 2. I know it's supposed to be very dark, and every time I've talked about this book, every single person has told me how much they love it. Like, I've gotten so many comments. Like, the comments are always flooded with like, please read it. It's so good. Your next book, boyfriends. Like, this is what I need in my life. Dark, toxic men. Multiple of them. We are just doing some reading sprints today in bed for Patreon, and I have made it 23% into Feathers So Vicious. I don't know what I was expecting out of this book, but it wasn't this. At this point, the story could go either way for me. It is dark. At first I was like, oh, this is gonna be for fans of Carrie Lake, but I think it's darker than Carrie Lake. There was definitely some drama scene to other characters and something to our main character. I wasn't expecting this to be as complex as it is for some reason. For some reason, I was expecting it to be in our world, but this is in like a different world. It's a little more historical. We have the raven kind against the humankind, and there's like a war going on, and the ravens have magic and the humans don't. We're following our main character who is kidnapped by the ravens. Since she is a princess, she is used as a bargaining tool, which means they can't do anything to her because they need her to be safe and not too traumatized to give back to her father's Taylor the King, but there's some other stuff going on with her family life at home and things like that, and there's like some complexities of why this deal might not work out and things like that. And we follow two of the Ravens who are wanting to use her for their revenge, and there's kind of like a good cop bad cop thing going on that I'm really liking. I don't know, with a book like this, it could go either way. I could either get really done with the dark aspects, like I could really just be over it and not feel like they're working for me and get too depressy and just feel like they're too dark, or I can have fun with them and lean into them and feel like the toxic relationship is fun and ridiculous almost with the trauma happening, because obviously a relationship like this to be rooted for is not healthy for a real life relationship, but in fiction I can love it sometimes, and so this could go either way for me just depending on how it goes. I do like the writing style. It did take me about 10% to really feel like I got into it and like flowed. I do think the changing of scenes sometimes happens a little jarring, but overall I'm intrigued and I'm wanting to keep reading, and that's always a really good sign in my books. So I pretty much read this book in one sitting. I started last night and got almost to the end. I had about 60 pages left that I read this morning. I don't know what it says about me that I liked this book. I'm giving it 4 stars. I had a lot of fun. I can't wait to read book 2. However, this book is not for everybody. It's not for anyone who doesn't like dark romance. This is very, very dark. If you're not okay with non-con, definitely do not read this. There are some very, very, very dark smut scenes in it. There are scenes of sexual assault as well on paper, so definitely look into triggers before you read this. Me personally, I was shocked by the cool world building and the magic system. I loved learning about the ravens and what each raven meant in their, what is it called? An unkindness, I think is what it's called. I liked learning about the different reasons for the war and how history has been rewritten, and I liked watching our main character find sexual freedom. I liked seeing her go from this very sheltered child to realizing there's something freeing in happiness and pain as well. Like, seeing her embrace that side of herself was empowering. I truly just don't think that this is for everyone, but I loved the men in this, which also says something completely wrong about me, because like the one dude, he carving her up. He's not nice. I think there's something to be said about reading toxic romance and how it has its place. I think one, it can get people through some stuff. I think that there's a reason for it to be written, and as long as we are educating the younger generation or people in general that this is not something to strive for, do not strive for the relationship that I just read. Someone carving you up with a knife during sex is not what you want to be asking for. However, you can read about it, you can enjoy it without thinking like that's something you want for yourself, and I think that there's escapism that can happen in it, and I just like really thoroughly enjoyed it. I liked the banter between all the characters. I thought the smut scenes were really well done. There's a smut scene in this where like the two men are playing like good cop bad cop essentially, and I thought that was really, really good. So yeah, overall I just enjoyed this, and I'm still shocked that Lexi made me read it, because this is the anti-Lexi book. I would never ever 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 tell Lexi to read this. Honestly, I probably won't recommend it a lot on my channel just because I think it's very much for a niche specific audience. I enjoyed it. I think I'm more of a dark romance girly than I thought I was. So I definitely need to dabble into more things like this. This is for the Carrie Lake lovers that want Carrie Lake to be darker, that want her to go there. This is for you. It's for you who want some non-con or dubious consent and all of that stuff. Okay, we can watch Lexi's next picks though and figure out what I have to be reading next. It's the Super Bowl tonight, so I probably won't get a lot of reading done, but I typically have my Kindle out and attempt to read while I watch the halftime show. And last year I got really sucked in because I was cheering for an actual team, because obviously I had to cheer for Taylor Swift's boyfriend's team, and I will be cheering for them again this year, which means I might get sucked in again because you never know.
Roll a 5, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Blue or green? A book that is blue or green. I went with one that is a little bit of both. It's one on your physical TBR. It's one that we have talked about a lot. This is one that I am using to try to find your taste a little bit more in thrillers, which I know you're trying to do. You may have seen a cover recreation with my face on it, Just Like Mother by Anne Heltzel. This is a pretty short thriller. I'm really interested to see your thoughts on this. I think it'll give me some information about other things that I could or should not recommend to you. So enjoy this book with this little creepy cover.
There is the best picture of Lexi as like the cover, like her face is the cover that we did way back when, and I have nightmares about that cover recreation, and it's incredible. I'm very scared to read this. I've had this on my TBR for a very long time. I know there's something about cults in it. I'm intrigued, but that's pretty much all I know about it, so hopefully we will dive into it, and hopefully I will enjoy it, because I know it's one of Lexi's really, really well-liked books, if not loved. So I'm intrigued. Also, I need to know why there is a creepy face on the cover. I'm on chapter 5, so things are just getting started. Call me intrigued, especially that first chapter, like the prologue, which is back when they were kids in the cult, had me like chills. Like, it was so disturbing and creepy and like made me feel so uncomfy. It's incredible. And now that we're back in like present time in our character's POV, and she has been searching for her friend. Essentially, this follows a girl who was in a cult as a kid, and then the cult gets shut down and she goes into the foster system and she's separated from her friend. And as they get older, they look for each other, and finally, after like 20 years or something, I don't know what the timeline is, they find each other and they meet up, and things are not as they seem. I'm very much intrigued. I love a cult story. I find cults so deeply disturbing and so interesting. Like the way they really seclude people, make them feel isolated, and then make them feel special, and like things like that, and like just all of the psychological aspects of a cult and a cult following and like things like that just really are some of the most interesting things for me in life. And so like reading a book about them is something I love so far. This is reminding me of Black Sheep by Rachel Harrison, but creepier and less comedic, and I think that that could really work for me. My only issue is at this one in time, I have ideas, I have thoughts of where the story could go. Sometimes that really fails me, because sometimes I think that my story is better than what I read. That's my personal problem, but sometimes an author's story blows me away, and sometimes they match up, and that's incredible and fun. So I'm definitely intrigued. Like, as we've met her friend, I just know that things are not exactly as she says. I am definitely enjoying this so far. I need to read. I have a few days to finish this vlog. I'm on a time crunch now. I typically don't vlog on time crunches. The way my style works is pretty much like one vlog and then another vlog and then another vlog, and I have a concept of when I want a vlog to go out, but if it doesn't go out, I just push it. So I really don't have time crunches very often. However, with Romantasy-a-thon starting, I need to be done by Romantasy-a-thon, and also because I'm doing this as a collab, me and Lexi have like an agreed upon date, which we could push. We both said we could, but we're both participating in other things and Romantasy-a-thon, and so like I need to be done by then. So I really, really need to read, because yesterday my inner thoughts came out, my inner wants came out, and I just watched the whole season, literally the whole, I want to say 12 or 13 episodes of Deal or No Deal Island season 1. Here's the thing, that's not all I watched. I also watched The Voice and The Hunting Party yesterday. I watched TV all day long. I also packed Ramathon bookmarks and got all those done, and I packed like 100 bookmarks. So like I was productive while I did it, but I need to read. I'm just so obsessed with Deal or No Deal Island. I'm gonna reward myself. I'm going to read for a little bit this morning, eat my lunch, then afterwards my sister's dog is coming over because she has someone coming to do some like internet stuff in their house. It's just easier without him there. So I'm gonna be watching Porter for a couple hours, and when Porter's here, he's loud. I'm probably just gonna watch Deal or No Deal Island season 2 because I'm not caught up on season 2 yet. I love it. It's so fun. It's like a competition show, like something like The Challenge mixed with Deal or No Deal, and I just think that there's a good amount of strategy but also a little bit of luck in it, and I just find it entertaining. I think it's something new, it's something different for reality TV, and I'm a reality TV junkie, so I'm obsessed, and I need other people to be obsessed with me so that it stays around longer, because I'm really, really enjoying it. And Boston Rob is on the first season, and another Survivor contestant that I can't remember the name of right now is on the second season, and the rest are all just like random people, really. So Parvati's on season 2. Yeah, there's that. So I'm gonna reward myself. I'm a child, and that's how I live my life. Essentially like a sticker system, but it's just like other rewards. Like if I get all my shit done, I can watch TV. If I do this, I can do this. If I do this, I can have a pop. Like I reward myself for literally everything I do, and that's the only way that I can be productive in life, truly. But so far I'm enjoying this. If it continues down the road, is it a 5-star prediction? Maybe. The dog is here. If you hear him, I'm sorry. Dogs are a lot noisier than cats, and they also have no sense of personal space. Like my cat sometimes doesn't, but for the most part, my cat wants their personal space. Dogs, they don't at all. I am making a dent in Just Like Mother. I've made it probably around 50% of the way through. Where's my bookmark? Like there. I was really intrigued at the beginning, and I'm still intrigued. I'm still interested to learn what is going on and what's happening. But I feel like at the point I'm at now, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm waiting for something creepy or disturbing to really happen. It feels very much just like your everyday person story, but with some trauma, where I want to see more of the cult aspects and more of that in this. I do like the psychological parts about her and how she deals with her trauma. I think that when an author will dive into pain being an escape for a lot of victims, I find that interesting to read about. I find it very real and raw and painful to read about. Also puts you in a perspective of like understanding someone. So I have liked those elements of it, but I just am waiting for a little bit more thriller, a little bit more horror, a little bit more action maybe. But since we're reaching 50%, I think we're at the point where like we've set this book up now, so this last half should be that. I should get that. I read a few reviews and people talking about the ending being wild, which has me excited because I typically love when a horror or thriller goes off the rails at the end. I'm an action girly, I think, and although I really like the discussion in this, I just need something more. I need like an element of me feeling disturbed at some point and uncomfy, which I did feel at the start, and I just feel like probably like from 30 to 50% it's been a lot more set up and conversational. But I'm excited to continue because like I get it. I personally at this point understand why they did this cover, but I'm not a fan of it. I feel like it doesn't do the story justice so far, at least. Maybe I'll feel differently at the end. I'm sorry if you can hear my computer. I normally turn it off when I'm filming, but Vampire Diaries with my Patreon starts in like 2 minutes, so it's on because that's where I watch it. We're on the original season 2 and like some good stuff is going down, but I did finish Just Like Mother. I'm giving it 4 stars. Books like this are a little bit hard for me. I do think it had potential to be 5 stars because I just truly loved the conversation. The last 30% of this book, I was like, oh my god, I'm so uncomfortable. Oh my god, what's happening? Oh my god, this is happening. Oh my god, this is it. Oh my god, this is it. And like, I just really enjoyed that aspect. I felt uncomfortable. I felt stressed out. I felt disgusted. I felt tense. I was anticipating things. But I do think from like 30 to 70%, that kind of lulled for me. I think I wanted it to be more action-packed, more intense. There were some scenes that I didn't need as much of, but I understand why they were there. So like I overall just like really enjoyed this one. I just think it could have been a little faster for me. That's all. But like the conversation in this thing is so good. The cult about like motherhood and how one doesn't belong if they don't want kids and things like that, and how having a kid is like the only thing that we've ever been meant for. Like that is so deeply ingrained into our society, not just into a cult. Women are shunned all the time for not wanting to give birth, for not wanting to give life. And as someone who at this point in my life, things could change, but like at the age I'm at now, at the place in my life I'm at, there are no kids in my future. That could change, but I have felt those things. Like the amount of times you go to a family gathering and someone's like, so when's the baby? Like me and my boyfriend have been together for like 8 years now. So people are like, oh, when's it coming? And like the shame people want to put on you for that. I think that this just really, really dug deep into that, and I really enjoyed that aspect. I thought the ending was great. Like truly, I thought the ending was great. It's unique in its conversation, maybe not unique in its arc, but overall I had a good time with this one. This would be a win from me. I understand the doll, but I still don't think I'm a fan as the doll as a cover. Even though it's really creepy, I'm not certain that this is the cover that I wanted for this story, but I also get it. Like I get it. It actually has to do with the story quite well. And I do think that if you liked this, but you want it to be more comedic, more wacky, but some conversation still, pick up Black Sheep. If you picked up this and you want it to be deeper, you want it to be more dense, you want it to be more about cultural society, pick up this. I liked them. This was a win for me. Lexi's been telling me to read this for a long time, actually. Like, she's the whole reason that I own this. I mean, not really recommended to me personally, but because of how much she enjoyed it.
Roll 6. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dual POV. For this one, I picked another book from your physical TBR. I picked a book that is on your 25 books to read in 2025 or else TBR. It's one that I have read and loved. Butcher and Blackbird by Brynn Weaver. I'm so excited to see your thoughts on this one. I think that it's going to be a very fun time to watch you vlog, no matter your feelings on it. I do personally like the plot more than the romance in this one, even though I still do enjoy the romance. It's a little silly, but I hope you overlook that and have a really good time with it.
Lexi with the plot twists. Like, I didn't see this coming. The funny thing is I actually don't have a copy of this currently. I lent this out to my aunt to read, so she still has that copy. So I'll have to figure out where I'm going to read it on. I do know that I do have the audiobook, so that's fine. Like, I do have access to it, but I think I probably will find the ebook. I am excited about this one. I have been putting it off. I guess I need to text Destiny again because Destiny has been asking me to read this one. I did not text her about the last one. I just was waiting for her to find out in this video. I will text her in this one because I know she actually wants to buddy read it, which is not good for her because I only have, it's Tuesday and I have till the 15th. So I have till Friday to finish this video and we have at least one more, but Lexi could still hit another snake. So not sure how that's gonna go. Sorry, Destiny, I hope you can keep up. I'll let you all know how the buddy read goes. Good morning. Yes, my hair is still wet. Ignore it. I'm going to help my sister today, so I'm just waiting for her to come pick me up. She recently moved into a new place, and when you move into a new place, when you're renting, I feel like you always have a lot of stuff, but then nothing works, and that's kind of the struggle she's in right now, and she wants to live in this place for a while, so she wants to make it feel like cozy and homey, so she is like buying a couple new pieces to kind of help bring everything together. And one of the things she bought was wallpaper that we're gonna turn into pictures, and so I'm going over to help her do that today, and we're hoping that that works out well. It's gonna be no plan. That's how we roll. We just kind of like, oh, that would look good, and then we attempt to do it, and hopefully it works out. So there is that game plan, and I will be doing that all day, which means I probably won't read very much until I get home later. But I did make it to chapter 7 of Butcher and Blackbird. I don't know how I feel about this. I have a serial killer romance that I absolutely adore and that I love and gave 5 stars. It's called There Are No Saints. It's dark and disturbing, and it's like a dark romance. And I think when someone says serial killer romance, that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting dark. Like, I'm expecting a dark romance. And because of what this is, I understand why it blew up, because it's more comedic. It's more lighthearted. Yes, there are dark scenes. There's going to be trigger warnings. They're murdering people, but it's not dark because of the comedy element to it. It actually feels very much like a contemporary romance to me currently, just about serial killers. I was expecting it to have more plot than romance, I guess, because most of the time when I've read serial killer stuff, There Are No Saints, I've also read the Mind F series. They have a lot of plot. Like, I feel like the romance in some aspects takes backstage to what else is going on. I'm so sorry if you can hear the cats. They're chaotic. I haven't played with them yet today. And in this one, I truly feel like it's romance forward. We're just switching between the POVs as they kind of gush about each other. Like, I feel like we're not actually getting to see the kills or anything at this point, which is something I would really like to see more. I would like to see them tracking someone down, their suspicions. Like, that is what I'm looking forward to. So I hope we get more of that, but who knows at this point. And I'm so early on that my feelings could go either way because I'm sitting around a 3 currently, and it could either go really high up or really low down. I am unsure, or it could stay the same. So that's always fun. Sometimes I like when I read a new book and I'm like, this has the possibilities for me to rate it anyway. I find that kind of exciting. It's like thrilling. Anything else I need to say? I don't think so. I'm hungry. I'm actually like really hungry right now, so I'm going to convince my sister to get lunch with me. I kind of want Chick-fil-A, but I know she had Chick-fil-A for dinner. But like chicken tendies right now sound so good. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. Also, look how long my hair is getting. I have very, very fine hair, so I've never really grown it out past this point. Actually, probably a little bit shorter, but I'm trying. I'm trying to grow it out. We will see. I find that when it is this long, I do have to do it more often versus my short hair. I can leave a little bit more straight and natural because I have like a natural wave, but not like curly hair. And I like to brush my hair, so I cannot curly hair it. I like cannot stand unbrushed hair. It's just something. I brush my hair multiple times a day. It's really weird. I am trying to grow it out currently. I do think I do need a haircut because it is looking a little dead, so I probably should go get like a little trim to help it grow out longer, but like I'm impressed with how long it's getting. I don't know. I love short hair on me, and like I also like long hair, so the vibes, well, medium length. I've never had like long hair. I've also never had really short hair. I like different lengths of medium length on me, so we'll see. I might cut it before I go to Mexico though, because we're going to Mexico in May, and I feel like cut hair, like short hair, is so much nicer in like hotter climates. That's all. I think Amber's on her way. Okay, we did not measure the car, but we got what we needed. It does not fit. You Yeah, this is where I'm gonna be sitting. Because we had to put the front seat down. So pray for me. It's only like a 2-minute drive, and Amber is going to use an X-Acto knife to cut off what doesn't fit. Okay, the plan is that this is peel and stick wallpaper, and we're sticking this to this foam board, and then we're gonna like DIY a frame, and this is gonna be like artwork on her wall. If it works out. If it works out. This is the concept. Now we must stick it down because we just put it down. The first one is done.
And honestly,
I think it looks good.
it looks good.
But the next one we have to line up. So rip to us because they like overlap a little bit.
It says you can painter's tape them so they'll stay together.
This was our best panel. Don't look at this one. Don't look at this one. That does not line up, but Amber can paint, so she's gonna fix it.
Maybe.
That one? Perfect. This is the finished piece. It looks pretty good. We have to cut. Amber's gonna do a little painting, and then we're gonna attempt to frame it another day. I think.
What do you mean, you want to go to Home Depot right now?
Well, you have to paint. You need to go to Michael's first.
Yeah, I need to go to Michael's first.
It looks pretty good. These ones we did really good on. Just not this one.
But from afar?
It looks good. Like in my video, you can't even see anything wrong.
Like, where's the seam? I know where it is, but like...
Where's the seam?
You can't really tell.
Okay, next up on the docket is Mod Podge.
Yeah. Oh,
Mod
maybe
Podge?
like a container. Oh, you're not talking about
No, I'm talking to the vlog. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Please get off. Randall, psst. Psst. That was chaos.
Stupid update now.
Next up is Mod Podge. We're gonna do it to this thing to make it look like a real painting and not just like a picture. And we'll see how it goes. I'm on chapter 12, so I'm about 50% through. I don't know how I'm feeling about this one. I'm hoping to finish it today. I think this needs to be brighter. Give me a second. I am hoping to finish it today. I'm hoping to really vibe through the last half. My plan is to color this evening. Well, this morning. It's literally 11 a.m. I'm gonna go on some Patreon sprints and I'm gonna color. I did get a new coloring book that I think is super fun. All of my other coloring books are really cute and cozy, which I love, but this one is crime scenes. I think I might color in this one today because I feel like this just like fits. There are a couple that are a little more questionable in it, but there are definitely some really cute ones, so I'm gonna have to look. But they are definitely not for everyone. They're a little more extra than just like cute coloring books, but I like having a collection. I like having lots of different ones because I've said it before, when I color, I really am someone who has to be like inspired by a page. Like I really have an idea in my head of what I want this page to look like or like something that sticks out to me. So I think just like having such a big collection of coloring pages is gonna work better for me because I'm gonna just be inspired at different times for different books and different scenes and things like that. So I am excited to get this one. If I don't color in this one, you didn't see this clip, but as I said, I'm about halfway through Butcher and Blackbird. I'm unsure how I feel about this one. I think I wanted it to be less about the romance. I think I wanted some sort of plot throughout this. I'm not sure how I feel about the jumping of timelines so much. Like, essentially they just like meet up throughout time. Like every year they have a date that they meet up and go on like a hunt to kill a serial killer. They are serial killers, but they're serial killers who kill serial killers. So like, you kind of root for them. I don't know. I wanted a storyline. Like, this is my problem with contemporary romance in general. I like really struggle with the idea of like wanting an essence of plot, wanting something more. I do like when they are on the hunts. Like, I just watched the one where the cookies and cream ice cream happens, and I loved watching that hunt go down, and I felt very tense. So I do like those, but the moments in between that are just like them being cute or sweet and working on their relationship, I don't care as much about. I feel like that is something I'm struggling with, is just like wanting more plot heavy moments. I also prefer her hunting than him hunting. I also just prefer being in her POV in general. He's too much of a simp for me. Too fast. Like, I understand like attraction. I understand like they're the only people that will understand each other because they're the only people who are like this, doing this thing. But I feel like he was very, very insta-love from like the very first chapter, and specifically in his POVs, like I see the attraction in hers, but she definitely like gave it time to like vibe a little bit. So I'm not obsessed with this, but even if I feel the way that I feel right now at the end of the book, it'll be a 3-star, and I will continue in the series because they are companion novels following different couples, and I'm actually very interested in Leather and Lark currently because I think I know who those two characters are, and I could really enjoy that, but we will see. I think that things like this are just like nice, easy palate cleansers for me. They're probably not going to be my next 5-star read just because of that lack of plot that I'm looking for, which is why I read fantasy and why I read romantasy, but they're fun, and that is also something that is worth reading. Oh, there's a cannibal one, and that just fits what I just read. Maybe I could do it Butcher and Blackbird colors? That could be fun. I finished Butcher and Blackbird. I'm giving it 3 stars. It's kind of what I expected. I liked this story. I did. I will be happy to continue. I will try the next books. I just don't know if I am a rom-com person. I can't decide. I want to like them. I think that they're easy and they're fun and like there's something pretty enjoyable about them. But I missed the plot in this. I found myself not super invested into the romance because it was very like insta-lovey. I was like, maybe I just haven't found the right romance. I liked aspects of this. I really liked watching them hunt. I wish we got more of that. I wish the plot that we did get at the end, I wish that that was better developed throughout the whole story because I think that that could have been done really well in my opinion. I want this book to be something that it's not, and that's probably part of the problem. I want it to be darker. I want it to be longer. I want it to have a scale of a plot throughout the whole thing, and I'm looking for, I think, romance that has that. It doesn't have to be dark. I do think I might be a dark romance girly though. I want to read contemporary romance in general that has more substance to it than it's just a fun time, and I thought this was a fun time, but that just wasn't enough for me. However, I did do a coloring page based on it, which is here. I messed up the shadows a little bit. I wanted it to look like the light was above the table, and so it was dark and there were shadows coming from every direction essentially because the light was above them, but I do not like the shadows I did on the pig guy. But this is my Butcher and Blackbird themed page. It made me use some colors that I typically don't use. I tried to make this look a little bit like cookie dough ice cream, and I had fun with it. It was something different for me, which I really enjoyed. I think it's fun to have coloring pages themed around what I'm reading, so I definitely will be doing more, especially in this page. I think that this is so fun. So overall, I enjoyed that book. I don't have a lot to say. It was fun. I will look at cookie dough ice cream the same way though. I don't know what it says about me that I was expecting that to be a lot worse than it was. I was like, oh, I have read worse. I have read worse. I can still eat that. That's fine. I think the story is very unique. I think that's something to say about it. It is so unique. I don't know a single story done like this. There are other serial killer romances, but not to the extent of a rom-com, and I understand why this blew up because I think it's so easy for so many people to read and enjoy. So I will continue. I will be continuing. I am excited in the next series. I think I liked the little snippets of Lark that I did get.
Roll 7. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
We hit so many snakes.
So many snakes. I'm very sorry, but because of that, we now get to hang out with Winston for a little bit. So Winston got 3 options. These are all books that we've talked about you wanting to read. So the first one is one that I read and really enjoyed. Puzzle House. a horror novella. I know you were interested in that one after I read it. Then we have one I have not read, but it is on your physical TBR, Rest Stop by Nat Cassidy. And then another book that I have read and enjoyed, I know you are also interested in reading it, You Better Watch Out by James S. Murray and Darren Wearmouth. This is the author of The Stowaway, which happened to be in your favorites of 2024 per my recommendation. I personally didn't enjoy this one quite as much, but I still think it's really fun and you will enjoy it. Let's see what Winston thinks. You Better Watch Out. Yes, this is Christmassy. There's a wrapped knife on the cover, but even though it's set around Christmas, it's not really Christmas themed, so I think it's fine to read at any time of the year. It's a short one, it's a fun time, and I think you will have a good time with it as well. I wasn't intending to get so many snakes, but also I'm kind of glad that I did because I got to pick more books for you. I hope you've liked something that I've picked for you. It's a little nerve-wracking because we don't line up on what we're always picking up and what we're reading, but we do tend to have a lot in common with the overlap in the books we do pick up. Thank you again for asking me to do this. I cannot wait to see your thoughts on all of these books, and I'm kind of scared for what you picked for me.
Okay, I should have seen that coming. I actually didn't see this one coming. Rest Stop was one I really expected her to pick for me. Winston left us hanging for a long time on that pick. I was like, which one you go and pick? I am excited about You Better Watch Out. I wanted to read all 3 of these. I think I will get to Rest Stop probably more on my own, so it's probably a good thing that it wasn't picked. Like, I love Nat Cassidy, so I will probably pick it up next month, to be honest. You Better Watch Out, even though I love The Stowaways, is just getting pushed down and down, so I'm happy I get to read it. I am really happy. It's an easy read, so that's exciting, and we're gonna just like see what I feel about it, see where the world takes me. First off, I decided to add a border to my last coloring page. I think it just adds something to it. I've been doing them a little bit lately, and I really do enjoy just like how completed this feels with a border, so I might go back and do some borders on some of my old pages. I think it just like makes it really feel like a final thing. I don't know if that makes sense. Next up, I'm flying through this book. I'm on chapter 10, so I'm about an hour of listening time into the audiobook. It's quite short, so this is pretty much a 50% update, I think. This is not for me. Honestly, if it wasn't so short, I think I would be DNFing this. I don't care. I truly do not care about a single character. We go right into like the action, I guess. It's not really action because nothing's happened, but our first chapter is the characters being kidnapped. So this is like a story about some characters who get kidnapped on like Christmas Eve, and they're put into a town and they are told they have to kill each other one by one, and the last one remaining will get out. They're essentially like prisoners in this like ghost town. And so our first chapter is watching a character get kidnapped and thrown in, and then he meets all these other people. We know nothing about any character, not the character we followed, not the other characters, and I just have no reason to care about a single character, like at all. So when something happens to one character that we just met, I was like, oh, I don't care. And then I don't really even care, like typically in a story like this, I don't care if the other characters we don't know a lot about, but our main character, the one we're following, I want to be able to root for this person to survive. I want to be rooting for the final girl, final guy, whoever it is. That is what makes stories like this have stakes for me. That's what makes me care. Like, I want to feel in it. I don't know if that's the fantasy reader in me when it comes to thrillers and everything. Like, I sometimes wish they took more time at the beginning to let me care about the character, but then sometimes it's too long. So I don't know. You can never win with me. That's really my struggle, is like, I just don't really care. I think it's gonna be probably some cool kills, but I typically read something like this for more than just cool kills. I don't know. No one is appropriately freaked the fuck out. Like, they're so calm for this situation. Especially what I just saw happen, I would be screaming bloody murder. Like, I feel like this was the appropriate time for a writer to write one of those scenes where like the main character is like, all of a sudden I hear like a screeching sound, like someone is losing their crap, and then they realize it's actually them because they're so panicked that they did not process that it was them screaming. That's what I needed. They're all so freaking calm. I would be shitting my pants. That's it. That's all I have to tell you. I'm gonna go probably add some borders. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I have a bad habit of ending these videos poorly, even though this is only my second time. When I did it with Mel, I also didn't like the last book she gave me, so while I continue to do this series on my channel, I guess we're gonna see if that continues, because I hated this book. Oh god. I am giving it 1 star. This is my first 1 star of the year. I've had such a good reading year that I really can't complain about my first 1 star happening so late. Typically my 1 stars happen in January. Like, I am typically a harsh reviewer. I'm going on vibes this year, but this did not pass my vibe check. I think that this was incredibly predictable. I think the synopsis gives too much away. I think the characters had no substance. There was no point to this story for me. And I think that that's something I personally know with my taste in slashers specifically is something that needs to happen. I've read a few slashers that I didn't like, and specifically I feel like they follow this pattern of just being like a fun time story. I want there to be a conversation, typically political or something like that within my slashers. I want my slashers to have a point past just fun kills or murders for the sake of murder. Like, I really need the characters to have this connection and this story to be like a grander scheme than what it is, and that's what my favorite slashers have in common. And this was not that. This was kill after kill, but like also the kills like weren't that good. Like, they were so quick, and I feel like I just wasn't invested into any kill because I didn't care about a single character. Even not caring about the main character means like when he reacts to someone's death, I also don't care. There's a red herring at some point that was just absolutely obnoxious and stupid and truly doesn't make sense. There's just so much about this book that I personally did not like. Reading is subjective, so you can like something that I didn't like. Lexi liked this one. That's why she recommended it to me. I love doing these types of videos because you learn so much. Time and time again, Lexi and me recommend each other slashers because we both like them, but I find that we both like very different types of slashers, and that's okay. And maybe we need to not recommend each other slashers as much. But who knows? I would have read this without Lexi. I have a NetGalley arc of this, so like I was gonna read it. I loved the Stowaway so much. I just need there to be more than just kills, like more, or like a care at all. Like maybe I need my slashers specifically to be first person. I need them to follow one character. We're with one character. We're reading that character's head. We really connect to that character. I don't need them to like flop around a little bit, and I need them to just be like a straightforward plot. Maybe that's it, because well, Cloud in a Cornfield is not that way, but it's close to being that way in my opinion. I don't know, but I didn't like this, and I'm so sorry. I really wanted to like it. I should have DNF'd it early on. I should have DNF'd it when I thought about DNFing it, because it just went downhill for me. And like the thing is, because I didn't care about the characters from the beginning, that was never changing. That there was no fixing that for me. And since that was my issue, I should have DNF'd. I should have listened to myself. I'm supposed to be peak DNFer this year, but listen, the 1 stars make the 5 stars feel so much better. I'm gonna leave Lexi's version of this video where I picked her books playing her TBR game on the screen right now. Let me know once you've seen both who you think was crueler. I think I was, but I was testing the waters, testing what she likes. Lexi gave me some freebies for sure. Also, let me know if you have anyone who plays a TBR game that you would like to see me do this with, including yourself. You can shoot your shot in the comments down below and let me know if you would be interested in doing something like this with me. I really need some recommendations because I want to do this consistently because I have so much fun with it. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video and you'd like to leave me an emoji just to say you were here, leave me a cloud emoji of some sort, and have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day.